Hi, I'm Stash, and I'm Polish, and I'll be teaching you some Polish. So let's start with the alphabet. It's basically same characters, same letters. They look the same. We have a bunch extra characters, but there's also some letters that we don't use at all, like X, V, and Q. But I'll be covering that later as we progress through the alphabet. So right now I'll just tell you the alphabet just as Polish people would say it, without the special without the special ones, okay? Yeah, deep breath, all right. So it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, R, S, T, U, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, so I said the X, which is X. I guess we say it, but we never use this letter at all. All right, so as you have probably heard, it sounds a lot different than American or English alphabet. I'm gonna give you words for every single letter that we're covering. As we progress through the alphabet, I'm going to be giving you words, American words, where you can hear, like you can say it, and this will be exactly what you're supposed to say to sound Polish. Let's say like as close as it gets. So for the letter A, it's like Noah, okay? Noah, all right? Or cut. You cut your finger, so cut, cut, upper, okay? So let's go to to the next letter. It's it looks like A, it's A, but it's got a little kind of a tail, like a piggy tail, at the bottom of the right-hand side, bottom kind of place. All right, I'll cut it out. No. I'll just cut it out. So it's called on, okay? It's not O. It's not like oh my God, but it's on. It's kind of different. It's like dough. Maybe the closest you can get is like the dough when you want to bake something. You have dough or pizza dough. So it's on. It's from French, basically. We had some French words. We have a lot of French originating words in Polish, and I guess this is why we have special letters for that. Right, let's go on. B. B is quite straightforward. It's just B, like back, or B. Same thing in Polish. No difference. Now here's the letter C. In Polish it sounds t. And this is the kind of sound you do when you say TS close together, like put together. So it's a ts, okay? This is not exactly what we say, I guess, what the Polish people say, but if you say ts, as in there's I don't want to advertise anyone, but there's this car rental company. They're called Hertz. So this is the ts in Hertz. Try that. All right, then it's a C, or t, with a little comma above it. So we call this ch. It's not to be confused with ch, as in batch. So I guess the closest you can ever get is when you want to hush somebody and use the kind of ch kind of sound. So this is the ch letter that we have. Then there's the D, which is straightforward, just D, like darn, dome. But just a remark, there are probably no letters in Polish that would change their sound depending on where they are in a word. They form, like when you have two letters in a row, then they form a new sound. This is possible, but it's not the letter that's changed. It's the two letters that are changed because they're bound together. So in English, you would have a word like Drake, and if you can hear me properly, then there's the D is not a D anymore. It's a kind of Drake kind of sound, right? So we don't have that. It never happens. E, the letter E. In Polish, it's e, like as in pen or men, ben or bet. It's just e, and it's always like that. No matter what happens, no matter what other things are next to this, before the letter or after the letter, it always sounds exactly the same. And then we have the Polish letter L. It's like O, made out of A or A, but now this one is made out of E or E. So it's kind of easy to say it, I think. It's kind of like L, so it's E and then O, like a W kind of sound, like an O but L. Not really any English words that would kind of sound right. So there's the letter F. It's very easy, it's straightforward, just fill, feel, fat. Same thing. G. G in Polish always sounds like garlic, Guinness, grumpy. It's the G version of G. H. So H is kind of tricky, but most of the time it sounds just like hate, home, hut. And in Polish it's never silent. Like in English you have an hour, you have an H in front of it, in front of the rest of the letters, and you just don't say the H. But in Polish, H is never silent. So there's the letter I. In Polish it's E. So it's kind of like double E in English. So weak, creek, or EA, weak, beak. Those kind of this kind of sound. All right, then the letter J. In Polish we call it J, and it's just like the English Y. So it's always the same, no matter what. So it's like yeti, year, yard, obey, and the last sound of the word obey is the Y kind of. All right, the K. Now in English you have a C that can be read as a K, and as in car. You have CK, that's K, and you have a K. Now in Polish, when we want to say K, we write K, and that's it. So it's like in kid, key, Clark, car, crazy, all those different spellings for the sound K. It's just K in Polish every time. L, very easy, low, lots, Larry. L. However, if you're saying legal, then the L kind of changes a little bit in English. In Polish, it's always the same, like lots, low, level, that kind of sound. Then we have a special Polish character called EU, not to be confused with the L, the E with this little thing. It's an L with a stripe across it. So it's a sound like a W in English most of the time. So L, wedge, weak, this W sound. Now, to hear the difference between the L and L, which look almost the same except for this little stripe thing, try saying owl. So we have the sound of W and then L just right after that. So owl. Okay, try saying that. M. M is very straightforward, the same sound exactly. Mom, Mary, Mike, Mickey, whatever. N. Straightforward, very easy. Note, net, nice, very easy. Then there's the N with a comma above it. So the best way, and actually my wife told me that, It's Kenya. Kenya. The thing on the top softens the sound. So it's not an N, it's an N, if you can hear the difference. So also, like if you want to go traveling on your bicycle, and you put panniers. So it's a panniers. Isaac Newton, Newton, or anything that's new. It's the sound of ny. All right. Then we have O. In Polish, it's pretty much the same, but just without the W sound after the O. So in Polish, it's O. Always. Huh. It sounds like always. But the other words are all, ordinary, Oregon, Oregon, Osama. Sorry for that. And then my favorite, Thor. You know, that kind of strong guy. Thor. Okay. Then we have the O with a thing over it. So it's just like double O in English most of the time. So it's a book, cook, a cuckoo, and a root. So it's just oo, the oo sound. P. P is simple. Peak, pipe, plenty, power, whatever you like. The letter Q. We don't use the letter Q except for foreign words that we kind of adopted. So the sound is cool. It's just like cuckoo. So it's cool. The R. Now R in Polish always sounds the same, but it's the kind of, it's called the rolling R. So it's rrr. If you can say it, great. If you can't say it, you probably won't. Kids in Poland learn to say rrr mostly at 4 or 5. Some kids learn it earlier, but it's not very easy. It's not very easy for some kids to say R. And there are people in Poland who are not able to say it even when they're adults. So they say something like y or l or things like that. And it's just, it's just tough. Not everybody is able to say that. But if you want to try to say it, watch an Italian movie and listen, or a Spanish movie and listen to the names. Riccardo, or when the Italians say they're hungry, they say mangiare, or buongiorno. All right? So that's R. Now then there's S. S is simple, just like simple, stay, slay, special, things like that. Then there's the S with the thing, which softens the S. So it's sh. And it's different than the C with the thing. So the C would be ch, and the S with this thing would be sh, sh, sh. I'm not sure if you can hear the difference. It makes a difference. If you say it, if you mix them up, it's not a big deal. Everybody will understand you. These things are, the difference is pretty subtle. Most people in Poland will totally hear it. Will totally hear the difference, and they will be able to tell the difference. But it's not a big deal. T. T is easy. So it's like T or terab and terabyte. Cut, but, things like that. But yeah, check this out. When you have the TH in English, it changes it. It's like Thor, or if you have an R, it's trust. So the T is changed into a ch in English, but in Polish it's always the same. So it's if I had a T and an R later, I would say trust. Okay. Then the letter U, in Polish it's U, and it sounds exactly the same like the O with the thing over it. I think it's just a sick joke from some professors, I don't know, 200 or 300 years back, that they kind of wanted to make students' life very hard. When do you put U with a simple U, or when do you say O with the little thing? there's absolutely no difference in the sound. It's just a sick joke, I guess. So the sound is again book, cook, things like that. The letter V, we never use it. It's nowhere ever in any books or any words. But if there's a foreign word or anything, it sounds V, f, or V, depending on the word. So there's a Opel Vectra, for example, we say V. And there's also things from German that will sound like an F. All right, the letter W. This letter always sounds like English V. So volleyball, vector, vein, never. Any time you have a V in English, this will sound the same as W in Polish. All right, X. I'm not even sure whether this is officially in the alphabet at all, but it sounds the same. We call it X, not X, but it sounds exactly the same. And if we want to spell something that we want to have the sound, we would just put a K and an S next to it. X. All right, the letter Y. The letter Y always sounds the same, and it sounds I. It's not it's I. So you will find it in English in the words like sit or bit, as in gigabit or whatever. Fit, lit, little, I. Okay, but there are words where you have the letter I in English, like stir, which already have the little bit of the in it. Stir, right? It's not as sit. Sit is just straightforward, exactly how you want to sound when you want to say the Y letter in Polish. All right, and that this doesn't conclude us with the letter Z, because this is not the last letter in the Polish alphabet. But Z is actually quite simple. It sounds exactly the same. Zorro, Zodiac, Zit, crazy. Always the same. Then we have our special ones, like the Z with a comma. And this is Z. Now, I have no idea how to make you say it. You have to practice. I don't think there are any words in English that would kind of make the sound of Z. And there's one more. It looks almost the same. It's a Z but it's a dot over it, and it sounds like Z. And now that's easier to explain, because there are some words like sabotage, right? So the Z in the end, or camouflage, basically words of French origin. There's also the word protégé. It's totally French, but you get the idea. This is the sound that we make for the Z with a dot, and yeah, that's it. These are the letters. In the next video, I will tell you the sounds that we make when we put certain letters together. For example, just as a kind of snippet, I'll tell you that when you have an R and a Z right next to it, it sounds exactly the same as the Z with a dot. Z. So it's also another sick joke by our teachers that they then get to give us Fs for spelling right, not spelling right. Like, is it an RZ or is it a Z with a dot? You don't know. It sounds exactly the same. Kids just get confused. I don't know why they have that. All right. So practice a little. Watch this video a couple of times. Try to say it every time I say it. Try to say it yourself. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.